All right. We're going to talk about something that many of us already know. Some of us know. Some of us don't do. Some of us do this. Some of us used to do this. Some of us know people who do this. Some of the people know that people that are absolutely killing our business and hurting our brand and hurting our industry. Yes, water. I just down the whole thing because when you sometimes there's certain topics you talk about. You just got to down as much water as you possibly can. So I'm going to talk about some of the things we need to stop doing. I'm also going to make sure that we give you 3 solutions to some of the things we should stop absolutely 100% doing. So think about this right now before we go into, we're going to start talking about some of these things. And give a shout out where you're tuning in from, your city, state, province, country, continent, wherever you want to give a shout out from, wherever you're most proud of. So I was thinking about this to try to give an analogy to really relate of things that we should stop doing and how can we portray this to the industry so that we can just get it. And this is what I was thinking of. Do you remember when DVR came out? Do you remember it? You're watching TV and all of a sudden DVR comes out and everybody used to call it TiVo and how excited they were because now we don't have to watch commercials. And we were so excited because we don't have to watch any commercials at all. And we just get to skip through commercials. And nowadays, if you ever have to watch any commercials at all for anything, we flip out. Even when you're on the internet and they say you got to watch for 15 seconds, we just flip. We can't believe it. We don't want to watch any commercials. We absolutely 100% hate commercials. Okay, so think about that for a second. And then we're going to get into some other things. I'll give you 3 solutions here in just a second. So next thing. Somebody knocks on your door, okay? And any of you that are door knockers, I understand how hard it is, so I do appreciate that. But think about this. Somebody knocks on your door. How annoyed are you? Maybe a little bit, maybe a lot. But in your mind, do you want to buy from that person? In your mind, when they knock on your door, aren't you thinking, oh, I just got this defense mechanism. I know for me, it's like, I'm going to show them. Even if it's something you need, you don't even want to hear about it. You're trying to figure out a way that you can politely, and some of you not so polite, you can just shut them down in a nice way, hopefully. Some of you I know. And you say, please, 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 please leave. Right? Just somebody that's knocked on my door, asked for something, I didn't need it or anything, and trying to cut them off. Excuse me, sir, can you tell me why? Excuse me, sir, can you tell me why? Well, I think you're misinterpreting, sir. Just on and on and on. So they come and they knock on my door, right? And they're trying to just sell me. How many people have you had knock on your door in the last year? And I'm curious because I know different, maybe I know we got a lot of people from Australia tuning in. I love it. We got Australia live for once. I know I went on later today just for Australia. And I know we got Europe that it's evening that's watching live. So whether they're watching the live or the replay, drop in the comments live or replay so that I know. But my question for you is, how many people have knocked on your door and tried to sell you something just in the last year? Just guess. I want to know. Has somebody knocked on your door? Yes or no? So my question for you is this. Is it called Facebook or is it called face spam? It's called Facebook. So why do we, for some reason, think that in network marketing, that we can go out and we can start spamming people right away. We become friends with them and we shoot them a message right away. Hey, do you want to come join my business? Check out this link. That's worse than somebody knocking on your door because at least they can talk their way into it, right? At least they can use some of their personality and their charm and their smile. But when you send them a link, how many people are going to actually sign up? And then let's put it in another perspective here. With the good old face spam that some of us absolutely do. And don't worry, we're going to get into some of these solutions here in just a second. But I just think it's important because sometimes we have new people that join our teams and we just don't even think about it. We think it's common sense and we don't say anything to them and then they go make a post. So you make a post and you say, join my message, join my company, private message me. How many people are actually going to see that and say, oh, I wasn't going to join before, but you call up your spouse, you call up your friend, hey, I just saw this message of this link somebody posted and now I'm going to join their company. And what happens is you may have 2,000 friends and you have 3 or 4 that end up joining your business because of it. So now all of a sudden you think, well, it's working. so I'm going to do it again. No, it didn't work. You had 3 or 4 friends that ended up joining your business, but you have 2,000 friends that are thinking, you know what? I don't want to do what you're doing. I don't want to be a part of face spam. People go on Facebook to connect with other people. They don't go on to get pitched. Don't be a commercial. We don't like commercials. There are a couple good commercials. Super Bowl commercials sometimes have a couple good ones that are pretty funny, right? But for the most part, we don't like commercials. We don't want commercials. Imagine your favorite movie that you go see and you go see in the theater. Do you want a commercial? No, you want value. All of us want value. We need to make sure that we're doing that in the business. So I'm going to go through just in a second here a couple of solutions, but an idea that you can do as I go through it is this. Make sure, and if this makes sense to you and you end up sharing this, please drop a share in the comments. Again, sometimes we have new people in our business and they come in our business and we just assume it's common sense to them and they know. Thanks, Aaron, for sharing. And we're like, oh yeah, they're going to know for sure. And then all of a sudden they start spamming. We're like, well, I don't know what happened. Why are they spamming? It's common sense. They shouldn't spam. Thanks, Shannon, for sharing. Appreciate it. So we can't be spamming anybody at all. So this is what I would do. Here are some solutions. 3 different solutions to help out. Number 1, we need to understand what the objective of Facebook is. And you need to make sure you have this as part of your duplication model. Every single one of us. We create a duplication model of how you're going to make money. We create, thanks Cliff for sharing, we create a duplication model for exactly what they need to do. But then all of a sudden, thanks Katie for sharing, all of a sudden they joined our business and we didn't give them no duplication model for social media. Well, you know they're going to be utilizing social media anyways. So why would you not give them at least some basic things to do? Why do we think that it's common sense and they're just going to do it? They don't know. You've got to teach them. You've got to show them. So part of the 3 solutions, solution number 1, is knowing the objective of Facebook, which is to connect with people. Thanks, Claire, for sharing. It's to turn strangers into friends. That is your goal. Period. Your goal is to turn strangers into friends and maintain those friendships. Thanks, Penny, for sharing. So what we do, and if you ever want to be on the live, thanks, Steve, for sharing. You can turn on notifications there. If you do, just type in ton. I appreciate it. If you don't and you think it's annoying, then that's fine. I'm an introvert, so I have to yell just so you guys can hear me a little bit here. So we're going to go into tips number 2 and tips number 3 here. So it's to connect with other people. It's to be a real person. Thanks, Lorley. It's to turn strangers into friends. So what I do is the second thing is we say 1, connect. 2 is to make friends with them. So how do we make friends with them? You can go like and comment on some of their posts. You can go leave them a Facebook and Messenger. You can leave them a message. It can be a voice message so they can hear the tone of your voice. But now what you're doing is you're actually making friends with them. You're creating a real relationship with them. It may be on the 2nd time. It may be on the 3rd time. It may be on the 4th time. It may be on the 5th time. It may be on the 6th time that you talk about your business or your products. Each situation's different. Sometimes the conversation happens quicker. Sometimes you lead the conversation right there. You say, hey, what do you like to do for a living on the 3rd conversation? And they say, or what do you do for a living? What are some of your passions? And they say, oh, this and this. They say, what are some of your passions? And they say, well, I use my job to pay my bills, but I'm really excited about my business. That's my passion. Well, what's your business? So sometimes I lead, thanks Joe for sharing, appreciate it. So sometimes I lead, thanks Susan for sharing, into what I want them to ask as far as questions. So that would be tip number 2, is use Facebook Messenger. Do you use Messenger? And I know many of you do. I know many of you are experts. Drop a yes in the comments if you use Messenger on a regular basis to connect with other people. My goal is 250 people a month just to connect with them, just to say hello, just to see how they're doing, right? Because I want to turn strangers into friends. I want to maintain those friendships, those new friendships. I want to maintain those old friendships. And then the 3rd tip, this one's really important and sometimes we miss. Sometimes we're stalkers on Facebook. Sometimes we add friends on Facebook and then we're stalkers where we never like or comment or we never make any posts. How are they supposed to get to know you? If you want to increase your likability, because people work with people they like, know, and trust. If you want to increase your credibility, thanks Kelly for sharing. If you want to increase your recallability, thanks Stacy for sharing, then you can do it on Facebook. And you guys know I talk about the 3.5 laws. Thanks, Christine, for sharing. And I'm just talking right now about the 3 laws. The last half law is the law of profitability. And that's where at some point you can see if you can create a win-win situation. But likability, credibility, and recallability. Well, how do I increase those 3 things? On Facebook, it's providing value. So if I post something that's humorous, right? Some of you guys saw it yesterday. That is a true story, by the way. My irritable skinny butt syndrome. I don't know, if you suffer from irritable skinny butt syndrome, let me know. Some of you suffer from irritable huge butt syndrome and you complain about that, but trust me, when you're sitting on a plane, you're lucky if you got that extra cushion. Trust me, it's no fun. So how do you do it? Well, you post something that's humorous. You post something that's insightful. You post a quote. Why would you just share a quote? Why not share your insight on the quote so you can borrow that credibility, so you can have shared credibility? Why would you do that? That's what I would do. Share a quote, but share what your insight is. Share a little bit, family, friends, a little bit of lifestyle. And then, yes, if you want to talk about your product, instead of pitch, it should be more of you showing them directly of maybe before and after pictures. Maybe talk about some of the results. But don't ask, right? Just provide value. I think people are missing the point on Facebook. I'll get to that in just a second, as long as I don't forget. Sometimes I forget. So they're missing the point on Facebook where it's a drip campaign that we're creating. It's not a hard pitch and close and sell and you're in the business. It's not the point. How many people do you know that they make posts and they build this huge business online? And if you do know those people, because there are people like that, they've got 100,000 followers or 20,000 followers and they're crazy influential. Well, that doesn't duplicate. What works is what duplicates. So you're not going to build a business online because you're making these creative posts where now all of a sudden everybody's just reaching out to you. Sure, if you make really good posts and you provide a lot of value, more people are going to reach out to you. But your goal is you're providing value, step number 3. And inside of step number 3, it's the 3 laws. It's likability. You increase your likability on social media. You want people to meet you in person and they say, you know what? Thanks, Amy, for sharing. You know what? I know you. Tom Chenault. You know Tom Chenault. You see Tom, he does his Facebook Lives. He's so authentic. When you meet him in person, you give him a hug. You feel like you know him. That's increasing his likability. That is the point. The second thing that you want to do is thanks Natalie for sharing, is you increase your credibility. And that's where I said, I share a quote and I make sure I share my insight on the quote or something that I felt like was insightful. I'm increasing my credibility. Thanks, Peter, for sharing. So now I'm doing that. And then the third thing is your recallability. I don't care how likable you are. Thanks, Rochelle, for sharing how credible you are. If they don't think of you, if you're not posting and you're not connecting or you're not texting or you're not picking up the phone and calling somebody, Dan McCormick, my good friend, shout out to him, been in the industry 30 years. I think the guy's made over $20 million. He says every day his goal is to call somebody he hasn't spoken to in a year. Wow. 1 year he hasn't spoken to. Call them, not text them. Call them. That's incredible. So the law of recallability. You're likable and you're credible, but they don't even think of you. You don't even come front of mind, right? Because you're not staying in touch. It's called pinging. You got to become a professional pinger. And the way you can do that from a leverage standpoint is when I post on a regular basis. Now, if I have something of need or of value, thanks Kelsey, thanks Lori, thanks Soren for sharing, appreciate it. Then what I do is now they're going to reach out to me. I'm going to reach out to them. And maybe it's not even something that I'm going to sell for business for me. Maybe it's something where I can help them and they reach out to me, right? So it's not just about take. Social media is give. Look, I did 100 Facebook Lives before I came out with my first course. 100 Facebook Lives. And some of them were just downright embarrassing. Some of them were just downright awful. But you provide value, drip campaign, right? Now here's the bonus tip. This is the big one. We're going to bring it all together. If you're getting value in this so far, type value in the comments. I always want to make sure you're tracking, you're paying attention. Sometimes I talk too much without asking questions. This was not scripted out today. This was just kind of, I just thought of it last second, felt like it was something that could help you out. So here's the last huge bonus tip that I want every single one of you to understand is how social media really works in my mind. Attraction and pull marketing is to, yes, turn strangers into friends. Yes, maintain friendships. Yes, maintain old friendships, not just new friendships. Yes, to provide value and inside value, we said increase your likability, increase your credibility, increase your recallability, which is to be at the front of mind of other people. Yes, all of that. But you bring that all together and you say, how do I make money? How do I make money using social media? Well, guess what? You reach out to people after that. That's how you make money. You reach out to people. And that's the crazy thing people don't understand is now when you actually pick up the phone and you text or you call or you leave a voice message with people, now the odds of them joining your business because they've been in your funnel. What's your funnel? Just your social media because you're providing so much value. Now the odds of them saying yes to the product that you have to offer, the service you have to offer, the business opportunity you have to offer. Now the odds of them joining are much higher. It isn't like the common myth people think of, I'm going to become so great at social media that I'm going to have unlimited leads and every single person's just going to contact you and you're never going to have to do anything. Are those people? Absolutely. There are those people. But that doesn't duplicate. And those people are the rare exception. How many of those people do you know in your company? Come on. Not that many. So let's stop being gimmicky. There's so many gimmicks out there of everybody trying to teach people these gimmicks because then people buy from them or they join their teams or this and that. Stop teaching gimmicks. The old school principles still work. We're applying the old school principles. Likability, credibility, recallability, profitability. Those are still all old school principles. Thanks, Catherine, for sharing. And now I'm just teaching how you integrate those old school principles into social media so that when you do reach out to these people, now your odds of success are 10 times, 20 times, 30 times higher than before. But you still got to actually go do the deal. You still got to do the business. It's not just going to happen now where people just reach out to you every second. And if it does happen to you, congratulations. You're the rare exception to the rule. And don't go tell everybody that it works for everybody else because then you're going to kill your business because what works is what duplicates. And so we got to create a duplicatable system for people, right? And help them out and apply principles that make it happen for them. So I hope that was helpful for you. If it was, then let's have a little bit of fun. Drop your favorite emoji in the comments, whatever that is. Let's see who has the best emojis in there. Let's see the best 1, 2, 3 punch. For me, I do a lot of this, sometimes the fire, sometimes the flexing, sometimes the rocket one. I'm up to about 6 or 7 now. Thanks, Lynn, for sharing. I used to be at 2 or 3, so I've really upped my emoji game lately, and I'm really trying to expand. So I'm going to look at some of your guys' emojis. I'm going to check them out. Hobby, I have not used the pizza one lately, so I got to use that one, my main man. So I'm going to use some of these emojis and just really take my emoji game to the next level. You guys watch. It's going to happen. So I appreciate all of you for tuning in. I hope that was helpful.